On July 14, 1911, a luxury train left the station in Rome. It carried 106 passengers. They were wealthy, happy, and looking forward to a scenic tour through the Italian mountains. The train chugged towards the Lombardy Tunnel. It was a short tunnel, less than 1 kilometer long. Scores of people watched it enter the darkness. They waited for it to come out the other side, but it never did. The train didn't crash. There was no explosion inside. When police entered the tunnel to check, the tracks were empty, just smooth, cold steel. The only things they found were 2 passengers who had jumped from the train moments before it vanished. They were shivering, terrified, and they were screaming about a white-green fog that seemed to eat the metal alive. The train was gone, but the passengers? Well, some records say they were found, just not in Italy, and not in 1911. They were found in Mexico, in the year 1845. This is the story of the Zanetti train, the single greatest impossible mystery of the 20th century. Did a train simply evaporate, or did it travel through time? Let's look at the evidence. To understand the horror, we have to understand the excitement. The year is 1911. The Italian railway company, Zanetti, has just launched a new marketing campaign. They want to prove their trains are the height of luxury. They select a specific route, a scenic drive from Rome through the misty mountains of Lombardy. They invite 106 upper-class citizens. These aren't just random people. These are wealthy families, journalists, people of status. The atmosphere on the platform is electric. Champagne is flowing, the steam engine is gleaming in the sun. It's supposed to be a celebration of modern technology. At noon, the whistle blows. The 3-car train pulls away from the station. The passengers wave to the crowd. It's the last time anyone will ever see them. The journey is smooth until they approach the Lombardy Tunnel. This is a real place. It's a mountain pass, known for being foggy but safe. It's short. You can practically see the light at the other end before you enter. But as the Zanetti train approaches the entrance, something changes. According to the 2 survivors, men named Sagino and one other whose name was lost to history, the air didn't just get foggy, it became heavy. One survivor later told the press, "I heard a humming sound, not like the wind, like a vibration coming from the ground itself." Then the fog appeared. It wasn't normal mist. It was described as a milky white-green smoke. It didn't drift around the train. It seemed to come from the tunnel mouth, swallowing the entrance like a wave. The 2 survivors were standing on the connector platform between the cars. As the engine plunged into the green smoke, they felt a wave of instinctual terror, a primal fear. Without thinking, Sagino grabbed the other man, and they jumped. They hit the gravel hard. They looked up just in time to see the last carriage dissolved into the fog. And then, silence. The humming stopped. The fog vanished instantly, and the tunnel was empty. Naturally, the railway authorities didn't believe in ghost trains. They assumed there was an accident inside, a cave-in, a derailment. Teams were sent in from both ends of the tunnel. They walked the entire length, flashlights sweeping the walls. There was no soot on the ceiling, no scratch marks on the walls, no debris. It was as if the train had been lifted off the tracks by a giant hand. The implications were terrifying. 104 wealthy citizens had vanished into thin air. The Italian press went into a frenzy. Zanetti stock plummeted. The railway company, desperate to stop the bad press, did the only thing they could think of. They sealed the tunnel. They concreted over the entrance. Later, during World War II, an aerial bomb destroyed the tunnel completely. The mystery was physically buried. But the story didn't end there. Because while Italy was searching for bodies in 1911, another country had already found them, 66 years earlier. This is where the story shifts from a missing persons case to something much darker. Decades after the disappearance, researchers started digging into old archives. They found a bizarre record in the archives of a hospital in Mexico.
The records were dated 1845. That is 66 years before the train left Rome. The records describe the admission of a large group of foreigners, 104 of them. The doctors noted that these people were in a state of mass hysteria. They were dressed in strange, expensive clothes that didn't match the fashion of 1845. And the strangest part, they all claimed to be from Italy. They claimed to have arrived on a train. Now, remember, in 1845 Mexico, the railway system barely existed. To the Mexican doctors, these people sounded insane. One of the patients reportedly carried a tobacco box. On the box was the date, 1907. The doctors dismissed it as a prank or a delusion. The mad Italians were eventually scattered to different asylums or died in custody. Their story was written off as mass psychosis. But the numbers match perfectly. 104 passengers lost in 1911. 104 confused Italians found in 1845. Did the green fog act as a bridge? A slip in time? If the story stopped there, it would be strange enough. But the Zanetti train didn't just appear in Mexico. It seems to have kept moving. Throughout the 20th century, railway signalmen across Europe reported seeing a train that wasn't on the schedule. A 3-car steam engine, no driver visible, windows shut tight. In 1955, a signalman in Crimea claims he saw a train moving noiselessly along an old embankment. The terrifying part? The tracks on that embankment had been removed years ago. The train was gliding over nothing but dirt and grass. Some theories suggest the train is caught in a temporal loop, trapped in the dimension of that white-green fog, popping out into our reality for seconds at a time, before vanishing again. The passengers? Potentially still inside, still waiting for the tunnel to end. To them, it's been 5 minutes. To us, it's been over 100 years. So what really happened in the Lombardy Tunnel? Skeptics will say the Mexican records are a coincidence, or a fabrication added to the story later. They will say the train likely crashed into a hidden sinkhole inside the mountain that was never discovered. But no sinkhole was ever found, and the 2 survivors lived the rest of their lives in fear of enclosed spaces. They swore until their dying breath that the train didn't crash. They said it changed. It entered a fog that shouldn't exist, and took 104 souls to a place we can't reach. Next time you are on a train, and you enter a dark tunnel, watch the windows. If the fog looks a little too green, you might want to jump. Do you think time travel is possible? Or is this just a legend gone wrong? Let me know in the comments below. I read every theory. If you want to hear more mysteries that science can't explain, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. You don't want to miss the next one. Stay safe and stay curious.